Buenas noches, amigos. We are back with another TVZ tonight. Once again, it's gonna be everybody's favorite Terran spawning in the green, bbreed. And his red Zerg opponent, yellowjellow. The map for this first game is going to be Blackburn, one of the newer maps. So I don't know how much experience either of these players really have with this map. It's one of the more unique maps we've seen. Spawning in the bottom corners. And that means they're most likely going to be expanding upwards. Obviously you have to take the natural here, but then third, probably going up, and then maybe the gold base, and this base here. There's some slow zones in the middle, some rocks to break off, and then a base here that you don't really see being taken too often, but might come into play later. Maybe the Terran can float a command center over. That's always an option. Otherwise you would have to break the rocks or do some kind of drop. So I don't think we'll see the Zerg going for it. In terms of opening, both players opening very standard for their races. A hatch first, followed by a gas and pool out of the Zerg. And bbreed doing his usual thing. No Reapers this time. We did see him go for that against Timbo. But just gonna be a Marine this game. And a command center behind it. He's already gotten his reactor and starting a factory. Over here on the Zerg side, he has started his speed and gonna pull off 2 drones from the gas. Gonna start working away at these little unbuildable plates. Fun fact, these were incorporated into the game because it was too easy for Protoss and Terrans to just wall off the ramp and make life very difficult for their opponents, so that was incorporated into the game, so Terrans and Protosses can't build a wall as easily. Now, yellowjellow actually taking his third at the gold base location. It's a very aggressive and risky move, but it can pay off. The problem with this is if the Terran decides to siege up behind the mineral line or just send some marines behind the mineral line, it could be very difficult to deal with because zerglings will have to run all the way around and roaches won't have the range to deal with it. So we'll see if bbreed does go for some kind of attack like that. Yellowjellow making a bit of an attack of his own. 4 zerglings gonna pick off that marine. Bunch more zerglings making their way not across the map, just gonna pause over here. And that does affect yellowjellow's income. As we see, he's only at 27 drones, which is less than bbreed's 30. So all these lings right here, how many is that? 18? That could have been 9 extra drones. So I always say, if you make army, you should try to make something happen with them because you are sacrificing economy to do so. Now he is gonna poke in, but not really gonna be able to get any damage done. He could pick off this marauder, but does not. Now the 3rd gold base is up, only 7 drones on it. I'd like to see 5 more on it right away. It's always worth it to transfer 12 immediately to your gold base so it can mine at optimum efficiency. And he's actually rallying drones elsewhere. It's kind of a strange move. You really want to saturate this ASAP as possible. Yellowjellow still a little bit behind on the worker count, but I suspect the incomes are pretty close. And ooh, don't know if anybody caught that, but a bunch of SCVs were just gathered around doing nothing. But I do suspect the income is pretty close thanks to that gold base. And yeah, past few seconds or so it was pretty even. Now Terran just dropped a bunch of mules, so it shot up, and that's the reason for that. See those mules here, and one just expired over there. And it is now about 6 minutes into the game, so bbreed should be moving out shortly. And looks like Yellowjellow was thinking about doing some kind of baneling attack, but decided against it. And once again, this is a lot of resources committed into this. I wouldn't even call it aggression because he didn't even attack, but just these units. And now some drones rallied across. A bit of a mistake there from Yellowjellow. The lair has finished up. 1-1 upgrades on the way. And what is going to be the layer tech? I don't see a Hydra Den or, okay, Spire going down. But bbreed is moving out. This is a little later than he usually moves out. But it does look a bit more formidable. A couple mines in the mix. Some Hellbats, a lot of Marines, Marauders. Pretty scary force here out of our Terran player. Gonna burrow his mines now. They're gonna get some juicy connections. Ooh! All the banelings, and that's gonna be all she wrote. The Zerg has nothing left. He's desperately trying to make some more units, but no, it's not happening. Very swift victory in game number 1. Alrighty, we are back. This is game number 2 between these two players. It's gonna be, once again, the green Terran, bbreed, against the red Zerg, yellowjellow. So, just the standard bbreed attack last game kinda just... it always works, it seems, against yellowjellow, and I think yellowjellow committed too much into an army early on and didn't really do anything with that, which of course caused his economy to suffer, and he didn't have enough later on. We'll see if he makes any adjustments this time. Yellowjellow, he does seem to like going for early pressures, but doesn't really work out all too often, and I think that puts him in a poor position for later in the game. I think if he just focuses on the macro and aims for a late game, he stands a much better chance. bbreed, not to take anything away from him, he's got a killer build. It's pretty much the only build he ever goes for, and rightfully so. It works more often than not. I think this guy has like a 80% win rate versus Zergs on the ladder, or something really high like that. First Marine gonna start shooting away at this Overlord. Not sure why yellowjellow didn't put it here. This is a high ground safe spot. You just have to put your Overlord right at the center of that. And of course that's beneficial because it spots the front ramp of the Terran player. And yellowjellow floating his second Overlord somewhere over here on the outskirts of bbreed's main base. I like that because it puts it in position to fly into scout later on, or perhaps provide vision for any sort of nidus. He still does keep an Overlord here, which I think is a waste. One of the advantages of a Zerg player is that you have these floating scouts that you can perch on high ground locations. Is this a high ground location? I'm not really sure. This is one of the new maps, but most maps usually have these high ground spots you can place Overlords on, and they just provide more information, more vision. Yellowjellow going to be getting his third now, and I really would like to see some more queens for the creep spread. Not sure where this one's going. Yeah, the main base queen walking out to the front for some reason, kind of just hanging out, maybe waiting for the energy for a creep tumor, but then of course that means no inject. And now it's just gonna go back home to inject. So yeah, not really sure what that was about, but I'd like to see some more queens. Another one starting up here finally in the main. bbreed has gotten his second base as well, and yeah, just doing his same build, it looks like, getting 2 Hellions at a time. And yellowjellow gonna fly in with that Overlord that I previously mentioned, so it's gonna spot everything, gonna confirm that it's bbreed's usual build, and this Overlord is gonna get picked off, which does supply block yellowjellow pretty badly. 58 out of 58, no Overlords on the way. 2 more just starting now. And once again, yellowjellow going for a lot of Zerglings right now. And he's definitely going to need more than that. He does have a Baneling nest. A bit of a cancel there on that gas on the tail end of that. pokes in with the Zerglings and gets repelled by the Hellions. So once again, these Zerglings not paying off just yet. Gonna try to nibble away at some of these supply depots. One supply depot way out here, not sure what that is about. Maybe just there to bait out the Zerglings, and it kind of works because the Zerglings were attacking that for a moment, and they did take a lot of fire for almost no reason. Trying to pull up the units lost. There we go. So 11 Zerglings lost, and of course that one Overlord. Not really sure how these hotkeys work. There it goes. Okay. Now yellowjellow, he has morphed some banelings back at home. For the defense, I suppose he has gotten his layer down, is starting his centrifugal hooks, which is the baneling speed, and he really needs to spread his creep better. At the very least, connect your bases. It is only now gonna start touching. And bbreed is on the move, gonna be making his attack. And yellowjellow needs to buy time for his upgrades to finish right now. Do not get over eager, do not try to engage this until it is absolutely necessary. You should wait for your baneling speed to finish, it's almost done. And if possible, wait for 1-1 to finish as well. I don't know if bbreed's gonna give him the chance. Now baneling speed has finished, and this is a very bad area to fight in for Zerg. So I'd like to see yellowjellow set up a flank. Don't engage this from just one angle. Send some units around the back to go for a surround. But that was a pretty poor engagement, losing all the banelings and now all the Zerglings. And that's gonna be it once again. bbreed's killer Zerg build kills the Zerg once again. And expect a GG any second now. Natural base goes down. Terran is running into the main. And yellowjellow, I cannot fathom a reality where he comes back from this and GG is called. Swift 2-0 victory from our Terran player. Alright, welcome back, folks. This is game number 3 between these two players, and this was originally supposed to be a best of 3, but bbreed won 2 games way too quickly, so yellowjellow wanted more. Already said his name. It's going to be the green Terran bbreed and the red Zerg yellowjellow. And this is going to be yellowjellow's map pick. He has picked Jagannatha. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. There's been a lot of discussion. Some people say it's Jagannatha. Some people say it's Yagannatha. I don't know what it is. But yellowjellow believes this is the map where he has the best chance. But he's going for something crazy. It's an early pool. I don't think it was that early, but it is a deviation. A pool first. Gonna go for his hatchery now, so I don't know if it was just a safety pool in case of proxies or what the plan really was for that. bbreed, not much to talk about. Looks like it's gonna be the same thing, at least for now. And oh, okay, Reaper this time. So first 2 games, no Reaper. Third game, he is going for the Reaper. And now yellowjellow's early pool is going to come in handy. That obviously means earlier queen, earlier zerglings. So I don't imagine this Reaper will be able to do all too much, but we'll have to see. bbreed also throwing down his second command center now as well, getting the reactor as he usually does, and I would not be shocked to see a factory. This Overlord, not sure what it's doing here. It should be on this thing, this little blue spot. Reaper jumps in, throws a grenade, doesn't really hit anything with that, and might get picked off by the zerglings. Nope, it is too fast with its jetpack. Does get away with its life. So even though it didn't kill anything, at least it stayed alive, and that's good. Yellowjellow just trying to drone up now. He has caught up in the worker count and has taken the lead by 2. bbreed throwing down that factory I talked about, and more barracks on the way. So very standard stuff out of bbreed, once again going for his Zerg killer build. This Overlord here gonna start getting shot by a single Marine. 2 more on the high ground. 3 more on the high ground. Gonna try to kill it. And is it gonna be able to get away? It's gonna be close. And it does get picked off. Oh, that's rough. Now, see the old switcheroo. Should start seeing Hellions 2 at a time now. And bbreed gonna need to throw down some more supply depots. Is working on 1 and another one back in the main. And once again, handful of zerglings over here. Gonna try to see what they can get, but it's not gonna be too much. And if he can get this reactor, it might be okay, but he does not, so it's gonna be a waste, and loses all those zerglings for free. 10 zerglings down and only 1 Reaper and Marine down. So yeah, I think the decision out of yellowjellow to, first of all, make those zerglings is definitely a mistake, and not the end of the world to make the zerglings, but then to commit them onto a reactor and not get it, that's definitely a mistake. And now he's remade some more zerglings. He has another 8 on the way, going for his lair and roach warren. So even though he does have the worker lead at the moment, it's definitely not as big as it could have been if he didn't make those zerglings. And yellowjellow does have a third base, which is nice. But once again, committing a lot of resources onto these banelings that he didn't need just quite yet. bbreed is moving out now, and I think one of the factors of this is the lack of map vision from yellowjellow. He has no idea what bbreed's doing when he's moving out, so he needs to get units for safety. And that cuts into his economy. Now he finally sees bbreed has arrived, and he is panicking, struggling to make units right now, taking a bunch of widow mine hits, and gonna be blowing up his banelings on not a lot. There's still a huge Terran force here, and I think this is gonna be a quick 3-0 from the Terran player. 3 roaches doing their best. And this third base gonna get picked off. All the drones gonna go down. These spawning roaches and zerglings gonna get gunned down very quickly. Look at that. Bet you didn't even see those zerglings. They died so fast. And now bbreed not really going for the throat just yet. Kind of regrouping, collecting himself. Going in now, fighting the zerglings, roaches, and ravager, singular ravager. And bbreed perhaps respecting this a little too much. He could definitely just steamroll yellowjellow at this point. We see the army supply massively in bbreed's favor. Look at that. Oh my goodness. And GG gets called. Another quick victory out of bbreed. Alright, welcome back. This is gonna be game number 4 in this now best of 7. It was a best of 3, turned into a best of 5, now it's a best of 7 because bbreed has taken 3 swift victories from yellowjellow. And this is bbreed. This is yellowjellow. And yeah, yellowjellow really needs to come up with something. He's just facing the same build, but he's getting absolutely crushed every time. And I think he just needs to focus on his macro for the first 5.5 minutes of the game. Make nothing but drones and queens. Maybe like 2 zerglings to chase away the Reaper. But just drone up, drone like a madman. You know bbreed's not coming until 6 minutes at the earliest. So take advantage of that. Drone up. Get some queens for the defense. Go up to 6, 8, even 10 queens. I would not mind that. Spread creep. I cannot overstate how valuable creep is on defense. It gives you vision. It helps your units get the surround easier. And it's just such a useful tool that the Zerg player has. So spread that creep. Throw down like a bunch of creep tumors. And then maybe save a little bit of energy for transfuses on the defense. And I think that's what yellowjellow needs. Game number 4, it's gonna be, looks like the same thing out of bbreed. Marine this time, no Reaper. Gonna start shooting away at the initial Overlord. And once again, not in a optimal position to spot everything. It should be perched over here. The problem with that is bbreed's usually pretty good with lifting his barracks to provide vision, so not really a good way either way, but still I think it's worth it to have it there in the meantime to spot these structures going down, to spot what bbreed's making. In its current location, he does at least spot the Marines, that's nice, but he doesn't really see anything else. He's not even sure that bbreed has made his command center just yet. And behind this, yellowjellow going for a baneling nest once again. And it's never a bad idea to go for a baneling nest. I just hope he doesn't commit too heavily into a bunch of lings and banes right now. Zergling did get cleaned up there. See its blood and guts on the ground there. And bbreed doing a little lift-a-rooney on the barracks. Making this wall very odd, and I'm pretty sure that's a hole, right? Not really sure, but yeah, that's definitely a hole, right? I don't know. Over on the Zerg side, what is he doing? He's getting a Roach Warren as well. He's gotten some safety spores. I don't know about that. I guess he didn't really have the information, so he wanted to get that just to be safe. But now we know Banshees or battle cruisers are not gonna be coming out of the Terran, so those spores are a bit of a waste. Could have been 2 more drones, and they could have been 150 more minerals. Just a minor mistake there, but yellowjellow, he's so far been taking my advice. Are you listening to this right now, yellowjellow? Because it has been pretty much all economy so far, and we see the effects of that right now. 53 workers to 33, and now it's about 5 minutes and 20. Now is the time to start making units, and indeed he is. 9 roaches on the way, 8 zerglings on the way, 12 roaches on the way rather. So already things looking a lot better for yellowjellow. We see the creep coming out. It could be better, but it's going, which is more than I can say for the previous games. And yeah, I already feel like this is going much better for yellowjellow already. A scouting zergling gonna let's take a look at what's happening. Gonna confirm that bbreed isn't moving out just yet, but he most likely will be very soon. And actually no armory just yet. That's usually a critical part of bbreed's push, allowing the Hellions to morph into Hellbats. Only going down now, so this is going to be one of the more delayed variations. Single Marine was feeling a little suicidal, I guess. And now look at this army out of yellowjellow. I'm liking this a lot more already. We got a lot of lings, some ravagers, roaches, a few banelings. One thing that's missing is baneling speed. But yeah, looking a lot better for now. And now bbreed is rolling on out. This Overlord gonna spot those medevacs, so if yellowjellow was paying attention, he should know what's happening. He didn't see the main army move out, but why would two medevacs be flying out like that? So yellowjellow, he should have an idea what's coming, and it's gonna be all down to the defense right now. And now he knows for sure, having those creep tumors get picked off. bbreed scans ahead to see what's waiting for him, and yellowjellow, not sure what that movement was about, but we'll go for the engagement now. Slow banelings, that's the one thing I can knock him for this game. But don't chase. I don't think you should be chasing. Just back up and wait for the turn to come to you, but it might not even matter. Yellowjellow has such a sizable roach ravager force. And yeah, gonna be able to push bbreed back this game, so nicely done there from yellowjellow. And looks like he's even gearing up for an attack of his own. And gotta be careful here, because roaches and ravagers are not that fast. They can be chased back, but yellowjellow pressing the offense. Gonna land some nice biles, but he is very clumped up. Gonna take some big splash damage from the Widow Mines. And yeah, you cannot force your way into the choke like this. Gonna take way too much splash damage from the Widow Mines. And bbreed gonna be able to clean this up, I think. Bit sloppy of an attack there. Definitely should have backed up. Yellowjellow still sticking around, and I think he needs to back up. Right now these units, there doesn't seem to be enough Roach Ravager, but the Lings come in to help, and that might be enough. It's close. You do not want to fight in this choky area. Supply depot gonna burn down, barracks gonna go down, and now opening up the front area of bbreed's base. This is a much better position to fight in, but still gotta be a little careful. bbreed forced to pull his SCV. He's gonna lose 11 so far, more gonna go down, and bbreed gonna chase this out, but more roaches on the reinforcements. And that might be too much for bbreed to handle. You see some more eroded pushing out because they're not gonna cut it. And yellowjellow finally puts himself on the board. Alright folks, we've got a change of players right now. I'm not really sure what this is gonna be classified as. I don't know if we should just continue as the best of 7 or... Whoa! So, Kevinleee, with one of his earliest rushes yet, takes a very quick 30-second victory. Alright, we are loaded back into the game. Had some technical difficulties with bbreed, but it's back now. He confirms it works. So, I don't know if we're continuing the best of 7 or if this is going to be a new series. So let's just leave it at 0-0. bbreed spawning in the top right in the pink, and in the bottom as the yellow Kevinleee. So Kevin, a very different Zerg from yellowjellow. He likes to be more aggressive. He likes to go for rushes. He likes to go for aggressive Nidus builds or Muta builds. So very different player, I think. And bbreed's gonna have to adjust accordingly. For now, he's gonna get an early double gas, so that usually means battle cruisers for bbreed. Of course, it could mean a variety of things from other Terrans, but I think battle cruisers, maybe banshees, seems to be typically what bbreed goes for when he gets double gas like this. And Kevin not going for a super early pool. In fact, this is going to be a very standard hatchery first opening. Spawning pool just finishing up, so we should see, there it goes, the speed as well. And he is continuing to mine gas. So I wonder if we're going to see a early baneling nest for some kind of bust, or is he going to go for an early layer for some kind of Nidus build? We'll have to see. And over here, bbreed, fully aware of his opponent's tendencies, going to throw down a bunker on the low ground and going to get his command center in the high ground. So trying to be very safe. He does know that aggression is very likely out of Mr. Lee. And it's going to be Roach Warren out of Kevin. Not usually what he goes for. He's more of a Zergling boy and Muta boy. So kind of a weird decision there. Now he is getting a layer as well. Still on 2 bases. I wonder if this means a Roach Nidus? Not really sure. But now we do see that starport going down, and it's in this tucked away location in the back of the Terran base. Gonna make it very difficult for any flying overlords to scout it, but Kevin not really one to scout anyways. He isn't usually the type of Zerg who reacts. He's the type of Zerg who takes the initiative and goes for his own build. And it's going to be a Hydralisk Den, 2 Evo chambers. Where's the Hydralisk Den? There it is. So some kind of Roach Hydra off of 2 base. Very odd build, and he is going to start throwing down his 3rd now. A very strange choice here. Roach Hydra, not usually the unit composition you see in a ZVT. And he is getting his Roach speed, +1 missile attacks, And is he gonna start Carapace? He does have the gas now. Okay, not gonna start it just yet, I guess. He is getting his Hydra range upgrade. That is the what is it called? Grooved Spines, I think? And there's the Nidus network. So wow, this is a crazy build. It's a mostly 2 base, 1/1 Roach Hydra Nidus build. That is wild. But bbreed pretty aware that this is a possibility, so he already has Marines stationed around his base. So it's going to be very difficult to drop a Nidus in the main, and Kevin's going to be forced to come up with something else. Now bbreed's fusion core has completed and he is almost ready with the battle cruiser, and we'll see if it decides to warp straight across the map. I think that's a good choice. You don't want to slowly fly and get spotted. And he does warp into the main. Going to start shooting away single drone and going to start killing that queen. Only a few Hydras on the defense. They're not going to be able to take down the battle cruiser by themselves. And this gives the battle cruiser pretty much free reign of the Zerg base. Well, you need to pick your targets, bbreed, not really focusing anything. Just pick off another queen. A few Hydras did spawn, and they might be able to... No, the battlecruiser does get away, so good job there. Only, well, 7 kills, actually, that's decent. And that's very annoying for a Zerg player. He had to pull all his drones. I think they just migrated to the 3rd. He lost a couple queens, couple Hydras, I think. A Roach, and that's pretty decent damage, especially since the battlecruiser was able to get away. It's going to be able to fly on home and get repaired. But now we see the Nidus popping up in this little corner here. Does bbreed spot it? No, he's not paying attention. Oh no, and he's going to hear the screech of the Nidus now, and he's looking around. He finally sees it. Oh no, very delayed reaction out of bbreed. And luckily for him, not too many units coming out of the Nidus, so he is going to be able to clean that up. Only 4 SCVs going down, not the end of the world. And of course the cost of that Nidus. So, fair trade, I would say. Definitely not the type of damage that Kevin was looking for. Now, 2nd battle cruiser has emerged. And what type of anti-air does Kevin have now? Not much. The 2nd battle cruiser warps into the natural. Some Hydras show up. They are going to be able to push it back, but not before that queen gets picked off. Battle cruiser is still getting some more work done. Might get another queen as well. No, not going to be able to get it. Does get another Roach, but needs to get out of there. You got to get out of there. The Hydras are going to pick it off. So, not as good of a battlecruiser, that one. Now, both players floating a lot of minerals. And that's partly due to everything that's been going on. Obviously, Kevin had to deal with those battlecruisers. He tried to go for a Nidus. And then bbreed was microing the battlecruisers and defending the Nidus. So, a lot going on from both players. That could be the reason why they are floating so many resources. bbreed going for a double expand, floating his third on over and building a fourth at the same time. Kevin has completed his hive, but not sure what hive tech he's aiming for. Does cancel that fourth with just a few zerglings. I saw Nidus coming up, but it must have gotten killed by the Marines. Now bbreed is moving his army away, so this could be an opportunity for Kevin to put down another Nidus here. I think bbreed needs to put at least a single Marine patrolling this area and maybe another one patrolling this area just to be safe. bbreed moving out for an attack. Both players very low on economy. And neither player maxed just yet. bbreed sieging up his tanks in a very nice position. Gotta be careful though. This one tank in a very dangerous spot does get picked off by the files. But these tanks are in such a scary position, but the bio out of position rather. So not going to be able to protect those two tanks that did go down. Kevin breaking the rocks to provide easier access, but he has lost 20 drones in the process. He's lost his third base, gonna lose his fourth base as well. And Kevin could potentially use this opportunity to pounce on the tanks. He does have the vision with these creep tumors. Again, one of the benefits of creep, but he does not feel comfortable, and this is, I think, his best opportunity to jump on the tanks away from the bio. But now bbreed has kind of grouped his army together. And this is one thing bbreed tends to do. He kind of just leaves his army out in the middle of nowhere, and he gives his opponents time to gather up their units and collect himself to pick off this army. So the damage is done. I really would rather bbreed just go home at this point. He's kind of just chilling right now. Another tank shows up, a Thor even shows up, and now he's gonna start moving, maybe make his way towards the natural and main. Kevin throwing down that Nidus in that spot that I was talking about before, but it's like there's nothing in the Nidus. So yeah, that was kind of weird. bbreed could have used these 3 Marines to clean that up, but now some Lings coming out, and that's going to be very annoying for bbreed, and that might just prompt him to move in. But he is busy dealing with it. Going to lose a lot of SCVs, few Marines, not going to be enough to defend it. Some more Marines and a single Marauder have arrived, and they're going to be able to clean it up at the cost of 10 SCVs. So just super annoying move out of Kevin. More Zerglings coming out, and that's going to make bbreed's life very difficult. He wants to press the attack, but his attention has to be focused on the main, and this gives Kevin an opportunity to jump on this army, but he is also focused elsewhere, trying to do as much damage as he can with these Lings, and he's getting quite a lot done. Another 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 more SCVs go down. So very nice Nidus there from Kevin, and that's gonna put him back into this game after losing the 3rd and 4th and a bunch of drones. But he is not out of the woods yet. Kevin's only sitting on 35 drones. That is not enough. enough at all. He does have access to hive tech and vipers, which are a very, very powerful unit. They can abduct high-value targets such as siege tanks or Thors or battle cruisers, or they can drop down a blinding cloud and render tanks pretty much useless. So we'll see how Kevin's unit control is, but bbreed setting himself up in a very abusive position, locking the Zerg out of his natural base, and it's going to cost a lot to try to break out. Now Kevin, with his Vipers, does throw down a nice blinding cloud on some of the tanks in the back. Another one on this tank on the ramp. And that is going to be enough to break free. So nice job there, but the problem is the economy. Kevin doesn't really have the economy to rebuild all too much. So yes, he was able to break the contain, but we see him trailing by almost 30 supply right now. And that's because he's only on 33 drones. He doesn't have the economy to support everything he's trying to do. And he's only sitting on 3 bases right now. He's trying to make some more drones. I think only 1 drone actually came out. So Kevin, despite the pretty nice use of Vipers breaking out of that position, he's still in a very difficult spot. bbreed sitting on 4 bases right now. Pretty healthy economy, 56 SCVs, and of course there's mules. And this is going to be a very tall order for Kevin to get himself back into the game. Vipers could be the difference maker. We'll have to see, but there's only 2, I think. 2 Vipers. In terms of upgrades, Kevin sitting on 2-2. bbreed has his +2 vehicle, +1 ship weapons, +1 vehicle armor, and +1 infantry. Two more Vipers spawning. Kevin trying to drone back up. He's up to 46 now. That's a little bit better than what he was at earlier. bbreed on a pretty nice economy. He's maxed out now, so he's going to be moving out with a very fearsome army. He's got a little bit of everything. Some battle cruisers, a bunch of tanks, some bios, some widow mines, and some nice blinding clouds out of Kevin, but they're going to wear out. He's going to need to either drop another one or, you know, he's going to just clean up the tanks, but that was a very costly maneuver from Kevin, losing 19 drones, loses a bulk of his army, and he's struggling right now, down almost 80 supply. He has no bank. Try to recharge the energy on these Vipers, but I don't see how he can defend this. Drop a couple blinding clouds and a parasitic bomb on the battle cruisers, but that's not going to be enough. He's going to need more than that. 4 tanks in the back. And now Kevin just running into the tanks, going to take a ton of fire, and GG gets called. bbreed taking another victory. Welcome back, folks. This is game number 2 between these two players. It is once again the pink Terran bbreed and his opponent in the red, Mr. Kevinleee. Kevinleee sending out a cheeky little drone. I wonder what this is gonna be for. Is this gonna be a proxy? Is this gonna be something crazy? bbreed sending a scout of his own, gonna spot that drone, and he might know something's up. Gonna put an SEV on drone duty. And what's Kevin gonna do? Gonna try to throw down a proxy. Oh, does not get it. Gonna try again. Oh, does not get it. And oh, third time's the charm. Does throw down the proxy hatch right in bbreed's face. The disrespect. Oh my goodness. bbreed gonna pull SUVs. Only 3 SUVs. That's not gonna be enough to kill it. But it's going to be able to get it low, and maybe with the Marine that comes out. We'll see if Kevin decides to keep this base. And bbreed throwing down a second barracks behind this. Kevin going for a gas and pool. Marine has come now. It is going to start shooting away at this hatchery as well. So I don't know if Kevin can or even should keep this up. He might be able to start a pair of Zerglings, which he does, but then this space is going to burn down. The broodlings might be able to get a single SEV at best, I think. And instead they're gonna go for the Marines. Actually gets 3. That is way more than I expected. And the Zerglings get another SEV. 4 Zerglings in total now. Gonna be very annoying. Picking off another SEV. So I don't know if this was worth it per se, but it is very annoying, definitely. And of course these 4 Zerglings still alive and kicking. Gonna try to get another Marine. No, gonna lose 2 of them, and gonna lose the remaining 2, so bbreed finally cleans it up. And in terms of resources lost, 450 out of the Zerg, 250 out of the Terran, so yeah, it wasn't quite worth it, but not as bad as it could have been. And of course, this throws a wrench in bbreed's plans. I don't think he wanted to go for 2 barracks. I don't think he wanted to still be on 1 base. But he is making the best of the situation right now. Start producing a bunker, which is not going to finish. 3 roaches actually going to be able to cancel that. 3 more following up behind this, and Kevin, he has a lot of gas, so he's going to be morphing some Ravagers. I'd like to see this Overlord float on over to provide high ground vision, because currently he needs to walk up the ramp in order to get vision of these buildings. But bbreed doesn't really have too much right now at home. He's got a few Marines. They're not going to be that great against Roach Ravager. 1 Marauder coming out, that's going to be a little nicer. And Hellions, they're practically useless right now. Widowmine is gonna be nice, but there is no armory just yet, so once it fires, it's gonna be completely visible. And Kevin, he's only sitting on 18 drones right now. He is very committed to this attack. 2 Ravagers very low. Would like to see him kind of move them to the back so they're not as easily killed. And the lack of vision is definitely hurting Kevin right now. He has to walk up the ramp right into range of the Widowmine, taking a ton of damage there. So could have just moved this over to get that vision. And now bbreed working on a Banshee with Cloak. Once that Banshee comes out, there is no way Kevin can stay in this position. Very difficult to hit Banshees with Corrosive Vials. But Kevin really wanted more damage right now. And oh my goodness, he's going for a hatchery at bbreed's natural. The Banshee has come out. It's going to start picking off these Ravagers, starting with the highest value targets. So good job there. And that's going to force Kevin to make a move. He goes up into bbreed's main, but a nice arc there from bbreed. Gonna be able to shoot those Ravagers and Roaches back, and he's gonna be able to kill, not even cancel this base. Everything going wrong for Kevin right now. And bbreed, perhaps sensing this, is gonna move out for a counter attack, and this is very bad news for Kevin, who just started off 12 drones behind this. This is the brunt of his army. now 3 Roaches. He's got a single Ravager back home, a couple of Roaches back there. It's going to be very difficult for him to hold this attack. But bbreed, I mentioned this before, he kind of just sitting out in the middle of nowhere, does finally start moving back. Kevin desperately trying to throw up a wall right now, but that's not gonna last. One of those Evos gets picked off very quickly, and GG gets called. bbreed gonna redeem himself in game number 2.